forward. Okay, so we are in Unit 2. We are kicking off our Unit 2, which is inference and conclusions, okay? So Unit 2 is all about looking at data and making those conclusions, making those leaps of understanding based on what the data is telling us, okay? So once again, for Lesson 1, it's titled, What is Your True Color? And things you will need for this class, documents you will need is your Unit 2, Section 1 journal, your note-taking format, whether it's through Google Doc, whether you have a physical notebook, whether you're using our Unit 2 practice book, completely up to you. And of course, the personality colors meanings document that's linked on your Canvas page, okay? Let's talk about our objective for today's lesson, okay? Our objective and our essential concepts. You will collect data that might tell you about your personality type, and you will understand how to subset that data, okay? So we've already collected the data. We did that during our last class. Today, we're really going to talk about more about that data and subsetting that data. Our essential concept for the day, okay, is the typical value is a value that can represent the entire group, okay? Even though not all members of the group share that same value. Now, value here can be referring to a numerical value, but it could also be referring to like a category, right? Whatever is the category that is like most often selected or has the most, the highest number in. So value doesn't necessarily have to be a numerical value. It could literally just be whatever category might be the typical category that people are in. So we're going to kick things off with our IDS journal. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot of back and forth from our IDS journal back to our PowerPoint today. So you want to make sure you have that journal open. It's not one and done, okay? So our IDS journal here, very first two questions here. How well do you know yourself? And how well do you know the people around you? The questions are already on your journal. I want you guys to take 2 minutes and I want you to answer these two questions, okay? So 2 minutes on the clock. In your IDS journal, you're answering these guys and coming back to the PowerPoint. So 2 minutes, go. That well. Okay, very good. Thank you for participating there, Celeste. Let's also hear from let's get something from Ruben. Ruben, are you there? Ruben going once. Ruben going twice. Okay, we're gonna have to come back to Ruben here. Let's try Edward.
Hello?
Yes, hi, we can hear you.
Okay. How well do you know the people around you? I know the people around me because they know them and I know them. Or they know me and I know them.
Okay. Do you feel like you know yourself very well?
Yeah, kind of. Because there's some stuff that like I know I can do and I don't show that much potential to it.
Okay, good. And let's hear from one more person. Let's see, Melanie, can you unmute? Okay. Okay, Mel, can you share your answers, copy and paste them from the journal and paste them in the chat for us and send it to everyone so they can see your answer, please? So for the most of us, right, we think we know ourselves really well, for the most part, and the people around us, maybe a yes, maybe a no, unsure, depending on, you know, who they are. Um, you know, as young people though, you tend to think you know yourself, but then as you're getting older, you discover a lot more about yourself, right? So the first half of our lesson here is going to be really about seeing if what we think we know about ourselves matches up with what the colors that we matched up with. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to actually put out a poll for you guys to take. Okay. So the poll is going to help us answer this question here. Which color are you? A group of students took the personality test and they were all asked to gather in different corners of the classroom by their personality color. Now, we obviously can't do that. We can't go to different corners of the classroom. So instead, I'm going to put a poll to see which group would you join based on your personality color. So would you be joining the green group, the blue group, the orange group, or the gold group? Okay. So just give me one quick second. Melanie, thank you so much for sharing in the chat. Nice. Okay. Just give me one quick second. Let me get the final options in here, and I will be sharing this with you. So there's going to be 2 questions on here. Okay. 2 questions, and the second question is for something that we're going to do later on, like a few slides down. So the second, I'm just trying to do like one poll, and we can look at the results for questions 1 and then questions 2 later on. Okay. So I will need you guys to pay attention to how you're answering them and make sure you're reading them correctly. Okay. There is a question here about gender. Okay. And we are referring to your biological gender. Okay. I want to make that clear. We are referring to your biological gender. Okay. So I'm going to save this. Okay. And in my Zoom now, I can bring up my polls and select this one. All right. Polls coming your way, ladies and gents. So 2 colors. First, what is your predominant color, right? The color that was the highest. And then the second one is what is your biological gender and your predominant color? Okay, so you're going to essentially, whatever your predominant color answer was for number 1, you're just now matching it up with your gender. So there are multiple options. Interesting though that I have answers from females. Oh, finally got an answer from a male. We don't have a lot of males in this class currently right now. So, you know, yeah. Okay. All right, let's see here. I have 17 out of 23 of you. 17 out of 18 now. So I should have the majority of you. I should have at least 22 of you. I know Steve just came in. And I think, Steve Hun, you were absent on Wednesday as well. So I don't know if you took your personality test or not. But welcome to class.
Hey, Miss K.
Hey, Hun. On that note, though, if you were absent on Wednesday, guys, you really need to do the personality test and you need to input it into the campaign through the IDS app. I say this because that's going to be worth 50 points. Okay. The other data that we collected on, it was a lot longer collection of data. So, you know, it came out to about 50 points of like data collection. So this is just a one and done situation, but you know what? It's 50 basic points that you can get for homework just by doing this. So if you were absent on Wednesday, I really need you to take the personality test that's linked on the Wednesday agenda and input the results of that into the personality colors campaign in the IDS app. Okay. All right, I'm still at 18 out of 23 of you. Why aren't we taking our poll here, guys?
Is there
Sorry,
any
I'm
way
going
for
back.
you to
Forgot.
put it on the screen?
Steve, say that one more time.
Is there any way to put it back on the Zoom screen? The poll, because it faded out for me.
Check behind, like,
Oh,
minimize
I
the
get
other
what
screens.
you
It might
mean.
be there.
Yeah, I see it now.
So I don't know. You can do it from there, hon. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I got 19 out of 23 of you. You guys are really, really, you need to make sure you're answering this poll here. I'm going to end it in 3 seconds.
Miss K, are you talking about the study habits from yesterday?
The study habits?
No, this is all. Well, what did we do yesterday? I had internet issues yesterday, so I couldn't make it.
You didn't have me yesterday, hon.
I mean Monday.
I was just talking about that. We did our personality colors test, and we input the results into our personality colors campaign in the app, in the
Oh, so you
IDS
do it on the,
UCLA app.
so you do it on the app?
So you take the test on Desmos. It's linked on the Unit 2 Section 1 page.
Mm-hmm.
And then you input the results into the app.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, guys. So I'm going to share these results. It's out of 19 of you, which is disappointing, but it's okay. So let's share these results. And you're going to need to see the results. The next questions that I'm about to bring up here, you're only using the results from question number 1. Okay, you're only look at question number 1 here. Only look at question number 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your IDS, you're going to go to your journal, and you're going to answer the question, how many students in the class had the same predominant personality color as you? And what was the predominant personality color in this class? Okay, so obviously you can't see how many, you can only see percentages. So you can put the percentage. You can say like, this was the proportion of students from our class that had the same predominant color as me. And then overall, what was the predominant color for the class? So I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes to answer this, okay? And I'm gonna call on someone when we're done to respond, okay? So 2 minutes on the clock to respond. And I'm hoping you guys can see the shared results.
Yeah, you could see the numbers as well.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so if you can see the numbers, go for it. Okay, so some people are saying they're unable to see the results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my desktop, and you can see it on my desktop. Okay, and that way you can also see the numbers as well. So we're looking at the results for question number 1, these guys right here. And I'm sorry, I'm going to close the chat. So if you guys are writing to me privately, it doesn't see, it's not visible. Okay, so about a minute left, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I have Fernanda, can you please share your answers? If you could unmute and share, that'd be wonderful. Fernanda?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So for the first one, I put for me it was green, so it was 26% for the female one.
No, look at number one. Look at the results for number one.
Oh, then it was 37% with green.
Okay, good. So then,
And then
go ahead.
the predominant personality also in the class was green with 37%.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so green, right? But blue is a very close second there. Blue is most definitely a very close second. But yeah, as we can see from our results, thank you, Fernanda. Thank you so much, hon. We had green in the lead, and then we have blue with 32%, or 6 of you were blue. 3 of you were orange, and 3 of you were gold, each 16% of the 19 kids that responded. I don't know why we have plenty of absences today, but it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is eventually we're going to be using the information. Wow, we have 0 males that are gold out of the 19 of you. Settle. Wow, interesting. We are going to I'm going to use this information later on to make a two-way frequency table. So when we talk about subsetting, okay? So let me just share the presentation now, because you guys don't need to see the results there. And let's move on. So now I'm going to ask you some more questions about yourself, okay? So I want you guys to think about some common characteristics. So common characteristics of a group of people help you answer the question of what is typical. A characteristic may be considered typical even though it is not shared by every single person in that group, right? Think of like maybe stereotypes, right? Stereotypes are stereotypes about like a certain group of people, right? And we talk about characteristics about that group of people, but that doesn't mean that every person that belongs to that group shares that stereotype, right? So it's kind of that nature here. So I want you guys to think about the characteristics of your personality by answering the questions below in your IDS journal. So you're going to ask, what are your likes and dislikes? Okay. What are your favorite activities? Are you a morning person, or do you prefer to work later in the day? Most of the time, do you prefer to be around lots of people or very few people? And how do you describe yourself? Okay. So I want you guys to think about these questions. There's 5 of them, but I'm going to give you 4 minutes to answer them in your IDS journal. As far as what are your likes and dislikes, it could really refer to anything. One of my students last period gave a really good example, and you do not by far need to go any like this example, but it was a good one. He said, I like coconut shrimp, but I don't like coconuts. You know, so like different likes and dislikes. You could talk about your like what you like to drink versus what you don't like to drink, what you like to eat versus what you don't like to eat. Like for me, I like to sing, but I hate to whistle, you know, or I don't like whistling. So different likes and dislikes, right? And then favorite activities and so on. So I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes to answer this in your IDS journal, and I will choose a few of you to contribute your answers to us after the 4 minutes is up. Okay, so back to our IDS journals, 4 minutes on these, go. Adam Hun, can you unmute and share? Just share it, pick 2 questions that you want to answer. Okay, you don't have to share your answers to all of them.
I said my likes are hiking, going to the beach, taking like architectural pictures of buildings, and I prefer being around with very few people because when I'm around with lots of people, I start to get anxious and like my anxiety starts going high.
Okay,
So.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good to know. Well done. Thank you, Adam. Amber Hun.
For like my likes and dislikes, I said that I like when it rains outside and I like when it's cold, but at the same time, I like to I'd rather not wear winter clothes. I'd rather dress like it's summer.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I like the contrast.
Yeah, for my favorite activities, I say I like to swim and I also like to bake.
Okay. Can I ask you how do you describe yourself?
I don't know. I didn't answer that one yet, but I would say like I'm kind of outgoing. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't to like make new friends and stuff.
Okay. Good. Thank you for the honesty there. You guys, you want to make sure you answer that question of how do you describe yourself, because that's going to be what we're looking at next, okay? So you want to make sure you answered the how do you describe yourself question. But thank you for that on the fly description there, Amber. Next, I asked Diane. Diane, can you please share?
Hello.
Hello.
My favorite activities are drawing and to be honest, I don't really do nothing much besides that, besides like talking to people on Twitter, but like other than that, all I do is really draw. Like all I do worth of value is draw.
I
I
doubt
do like
that.
I do like to cook sometimes though. I've been
Okay.
practicing for
Okay.
the
Good.
competition.
And
And
how do you describe yourself, Diane?
oh, describing myself so hard. I know a lot of people have used the word eccentric to describe me.
Okay.
I also use the word arrogant, but no,
I,
yeah, arrogant.
I mean, I think a lot of teenagers are arrogant at your age. It's definitely a common trait.
Yeah.
It's part of the development process. It's definitely part of your ego as you're growing up. Um, so thank you, Diane. That was awesome. Well done. And I would definitely use the word eccentric, but like a fun eccentric to
Yeah.
describe you for sure. Okay. Well done. Okay. Next up, I think I also asked Natalie. Natalie, hun, can you share as well?
I said I really like my car, but then I dislike having to drive. So if someone can drive, I'd rather have them drive. And yeah.
I love your likes and dislikes, guys. You're killing me with them. I love them. Okay, how would you describe yourself, Natalie?
I said that I'm funny and that I'm always down to like do anything. I also said smart and I'm devoted to whatever.
I like it. I like it a lot. Well done, Natalie. Thank you so much. Great job, guys. Great job. And I hope that most of you guys were able to answer that question for yourselves. Because next, what I want you guys to do is I want you to take a look at your predominant color. Okay, so remember your predominant and your second highest, right? That's your secondary color. Take a look at your predominant and your secondary colors. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to look at the descriptions of your predominant color. And if you matched up, obviously, then you want to also look at your secondary color. And I want you to think about this question here of how does your personality color description compare to how you described yourself, right? So think about the words, like Natalie ended it really wonderfully with like using those specific words about herself. And I want you to take a look at the description of your personality color, the predominant one, and see if it matches or not. So I want you to answer this question publicly in the chat. We're not going to the journal, okay? I want this in the chat, and I want it publicly so people can see a sense of like what you're seeing, right? So what I'm talking about when I say the description is we are talking about the true colors, the meaning, the personality colors meaning document. And I will have this shared here. So if anyone doesn't know where to open it, you'll see the PDF. So the question is, how does this description of your predominant color compare to how you described yourself? Okay, I'm going to give you guys about 2.5 minutes to read your description, form a response for the chat, and send it in the chat. Okay, 2.5 minutes to complete that whole cycle. Okay. So starting now. All right, guys, I'm loving these responses. Totally loving these responses. Spot on, right on, Zara. Very nice. I love it. Okay, Carter. I think that's normal though, the whole intelligence, right? If it's something that's important to us, then if it's something that we care about and that's important to us, then that makes sense. You know, that we identify our person with that characteristic. And that's something that's bound to happen. Nice, Mel. Very nice. And I love how you threw it back to one of your classmates too and tied in what they said, because that shows me you're reading what they wrote. I love it. I love it. Okay, Nick, you know what? That's fine. And the question that I would ask you, Nick, is was your like how high was your score, or was your score close to the scores of like other colors, right? So ask yourself that, because if the scores were close, then there's a high chance that you're like a little bit of each color, or a little bit of the colors that are close to each other in score. If your score was like very clearly one thing, then you're probably going to identify with that color more so. But if your scores were like kind of around the same number, it probably means that you have a bit of characteristics from each color. Very nice, Diana. Yes, you are a very quiet and unique person. I will agree with that. Very nice, Ken. Oh, you guys are, I'm loving this whole, you guys are doing great. Love, love. Thank you, Celeste. Interesting, Alex. Okay, interesting. So you got green, but you were late more with orange. That's, oh, okay. Were the scores close, Alex? Was like orange your secondary?
Yeah, well, it was like 13-12.
Oh, see, okay, that makes sense then. Okay, interesting. Very nice, Amber. That's an interesting question, Devin. You know what? I love that you asked that question, because that really foreshadows into what we're going to look into with our data, right? Because if you remember when you guys put in your campaign results, right, or you put your results into the campaign, it asked you for your astrological sign. So it'll be interesting to see the colors, like the predominant colors versus the astrological, or I'm guessing like when you say water signs, you're referring to astrological as well. So that was pretty cool there. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Kitso. Orange and gold. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So if your stuff are really close, if the scores are really close, you probably relate to more than one color. I see that someone had their hand. Nope, they took it down. Okay. Trying to catch that real quick. Oh, right on, guys. Thank you for those responses. Really well done. So this brings us to our, wait, I moved along. This is the slide we're supposed to be on. This brings us to our next thing, which we're going to go back to our journal. But remember the poll results, right? Remember these poll results that I shared with you guys? And question number 2, where I asked you about your biological gender and your predominant color. Well, that was because I wanted to put this information into a two-way frequency table, okay? So what I did was I went ahead while you guys were doing one of your journals, and I put it into our two-way frequency table, and I organized our collected data into subsets, right? Smaller groups with certain descriptions. So our two-way frequency table is looking at the gender, okay, and the predominant color. So I went ahead and I put in the numbers here for our female. So we had 1 female that was in orange, 5 females that were green, 5 females that were blue, 3 females that were gold. And then when we look at the males, we had 2 orange males, 2 green males, 1 blue male, and 0 gold males. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to make sure you get this down for the subsets. Students we're going to subset our data into male and female, okay? And then this definition, or the purpose of subsetting. Subsetting is another way to organize collected data to make it more descriptive and refined, right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to copy this table into your IDS journal, and I want you to fill in these totals here, okay? Fill in our row and our column totals as you're putting this into your IDS journal, okay? So please go ahead and do that now. I'm going to give you guys a minute to do that. Okay, just 1 minute. Actually, let's do this. When you're done copying your table, raise your hand for me, please. That way I know and I'm not cutting anyone off. I want to make sure that everyone has the table down. When you're done with your table, please raise your hand for me, okay? Thank you, Zara. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Mia and Adam. Thank you, Steve and Celeste. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Diane and Vanessa. Thank you, Zayana and Devin. Okay, thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Carter. Waiting for everyone to just let me know when you're done copying this table and filling in those totals, right? Okay, thank you, Kennedy and Nick. Thank you, Fernanda and Edward. Well done, guys. Okay, Alex, Christian, Kitso, and Ruben, do you guys need some help?
No, I was just literally about to raise my hand.
All right, hon. Thank you. Okay, Christian, Kitso, and Ruben, do you guys need some help? Thank you, Kitso. I see that check mark. Christian and Ruben, are we there? You guys, Christian, Ruben going once? Ah, thank you, Ruben, for that response. Did you finish copying down this table, Ruben? Into your journal? Okay, I see that. Okay, well done, guys. So if you put in the totals, right, we should have these, our totals. We have 2 plus 2 plus 1 here, that's 3. Over here, we have 5 and 5, that's 10, 3 and 1 is 14 there. Okay, you want to double check to make sure that this adds up, but it doesn't. 14 plus 3 is 17, not 19. So why? What went wrong here? Anyone catch my mistake? Male total is 5. What did I put? 3? Oh, dang. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you for catching that. Teachers make mistakes too, right? Thank you, Zara and Vanessa. Y'all are awesome. Okay, now over here, we have a 3, we have a 7, we have a 6, we have a 3, right? We want to make sure that this also adds up to 19. So 3 and 7 are 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So we're good to go there. Okay. So why is this so important? Well, my dears, we're going to now take our two-way frequency table with our categorical data, and we're going to make some bar graphs with them. Yes, hand-drawn bar graphs, because we love to do bar graphs. So this is going to be done in your notes. Okay, we're going to do this in your notes. So wherever your notes are, whether it's on paper, whether it's on, I would suggest maybe doing this on a piece of paper and maybe like scanning it into your digital notes if you're doing digital notes. But we're going to be doing bar graphs here, okay, based on our two-way frequency table, and we're going to sketch 2 bar graphs of the personality colors, one for males and the other for females. So we're subsetting our data here based on males and females, Okay, that's our subsetting. We're gonna split our data, right? So subsetting means splitting your data into smaller groups of data. And the way we're grouping it this time around is males and females, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back to our frequency table here, and I'm gonna draw the first bar graph with you. Okay, and we'll do males first here. We're gonna do males first. So I'm going to go ahead and click on annotate here. And let's pick a color that is a good color for, actually, I want to pick a color that's not on there. So we have orange, gold, blue, and green. So let's pick this red. Okay, so if I pick this red here, and I'm going to draw my bar graph right over here. Ooh, that is an ugly line. I apologize. You guys are going to be able to do this much better than me. So line right there. There's my bar graph. Okay. I'm actually going to go back to my two-way frequency table here because I want to be able to see what I'm drawing. And you know what? This is I'm going to do a brighter red because I didn't like how dark that came out. So suppose I'm doing my bar graph right here, and this is my males, right? This is for my males. I'm going to do the male one with you guys. So looking at just the male category. So I'm looking at my male row here. Okay. So I have, for males, I have 2 orange, 2 green, 1 blue, and 0 gold, right? So my maximum is 2, and I can make my little marks here of 1, 2, 3, 4. I can make however many I want just to give me an idea of how high I'm going to need to go. So, and I'm going to color code here. So for orange, I'm going to use orange. So I have 2 male oranges. So I'm going to take my bar, 1, 2, bring it at the 2 mark, shade it in. Okay, this is my orange color. I'm just going to put that as O. Next we have green. So I'm going to change my color to green here. Green is also at 2. So once again, I have bringing it up to 2, bringing it over, literally making a bar at the level of 2 here and shading that in right there. Okay, this is my green. Okay, that's my green. Next up, we have blue. Okay, blue, we have 1 student, 1 male student at blue, just 1. So I'm going to take my bar and I'm only going to bring it up as high as 1 goes. Shade that in. Okay, the goal is to try to keep them the same width, guys, but you know, struggling here. So that's my male blue right there. Lastly, we have gold. I'm going to be using or yellow for gold here. And we had 0 gold. So this is my G. I'm just going to call that GD. And I'm going to leave that right here at 0. Like it's not even a bar. It's just like a line saying that it's at 0. And that's it. That's my bar graph for the males, right? That's it. I got my orange, my green, my blue, and my gold. And this is, I only used the data from my male row because I'm splitting that data, right? Just the male row here. Does any questions on how I just made that bar graph? I know you have questions. Please make sure you get them to me, okay? I want to answer your questions. Even if you think it's a simple question, I still want to hear it, okay? I still want to hear it. Any questions there, guys? Okay.
No questions. No questions.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much. Okay, so
Sure.
on that note, then I want you guys to do the female bar graph. Okay, I want you guys to go ahead and do the female bar graph for me. Let's see, maybe we can brighten things up here. So I'm gonna move this guy right up here. Let's call this female, right? Make your little markings. Now pay attention to the females. The highest number we go up to for females is 5 right over here. So you're gonna have to make sure you make tick marks of at least 5. So you know how high you're going, right? And then, okay, I'm gonna let you guys do the rest. I'll give you guys about 1.5 minutes to make this bar graph yourselves, okay? About 1.5 minutes and go. No, Mel, you don't do the total, hun. No, just female. We're doing the subsets. We're doing bar graphs for the subsets. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I went ahead and made my own little female colors bar graph here. And I want you guys to take a look at your bar graph. Okay. Take a look at your bar graph that you made for females. And I want you to tell me if your bar graph looks similar, right? Does your bar graph look similar to my bar graph that I made for females? By raising your hand. Okay, let me know if your bar graph looks similar to my bar graph by raising your hand in the reaction section. Okay. All right. Well done. Thank you. Well done, Zara and Kennedy. Well done, Mel and Carter. Stephen, Madeline, Amber and Vanessa, Devin and Celeste. Well done, guys. Well done. Let's see. There's quite a few of you that don't have your hand raised. Let's see what was going on here. I just want to see. They're not being docked. I just want to see if it like who matched and who didn't. That's all I want to see. Let's see here. Diane, what? Oh, you're okay, Nick, you're lagging. I said, Nick Hunt, raise your hand if your female bar graph is similar to mine.
Oh, oops! I thought I had to go into our studio.
Wait, to make up? No, we were hand drawing these, hun.
I'm sorry. No, that's kind of why. Okay, sorry.
Okay. No,
I didn't have snipping tool open.
Okay, I mean, if you went into our studio, that meant you had to export your data, import it. Wow, Diane, well done. I ain't hating. Okay, well done. Let's see here. Alex, son, is there a reason why what was different about your graph? Let's ask that.
About my what?
What was different about your bar graph?
Oh, I don't. To be honest, I'm honest with you. I did not know what you're talking about.
The female bar graph that you were supposed to draw?
Yeah, nah, I wasn't really paying attention. My mom called me.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks for the honesty. That's not good though, because you just missed a key part of the lesson. Okay, just make sure you watch this video later on, bud. Okay, so I have a feeling that most of these are going to be some technical issues of that nature. But I see most of you guys were right on with the bar graph, so well done on that. Okay, well done on that. So based on these bar graphs, though, we want to answer some questions in your IDS journal. Okay, so looking at our bar graphs here, we have our male bar graph here. We have our female bar graph here. Okay, I wish I could like literally just move this, but I cannot. We have our female bar graph and we have our male bar graph here. So we have a few questions that you need to fill in the blanks for, okay? And the blanks may not just be one-word answers. So it says using the bar graphs you created as reference, complete the following sentences in your IDS journal, okay? The distribution of colors for males is blank. The typical male or the typical female in this class has blank as her predominant personality color. There is more variability in the distribution of males or females as compared with males or females, right? The predominant personality color for a typical male in this class is blank, okay? So 2 and 4 are pretty straightforward. 1 and 3 require a little bit of knowledge of our previous vocabulary, okay? So I want to give you guys 2 minutes in your IDS journals to try to answer these as best as you can, and then I'm going to go over it with you. Okay, I'll go over it with you because we're going to be making more bar graphs during our next class and answering more questions like this during our next class, okay? So I want to give you guys 2 minutes to try to answer these as best as you can, and then we'll talk about them. Okay, so 2 minutes on the clock in your IDS journal, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a quick look at these, okay? So the distribution of colors for males is So when it asks you for the distribution, it's essentially asking you how the data was distributed. So your answer here should be something along the lines of the distribution of colors for males is 2 orange, 2 green, 1 blue, and 0 gold, right? So you're essentially stating what the actual distribution was, like how the data was spread out, okay? For number 2, the typical female in this class has blank as her predominant personality color. Now for this one, for our class, over here, we have green and blue with 5 each. So there is no one typical, right? So over here, we would say green or blue. So the typical female in this class has green or blue as her predominant personality color because it was a tie, right? Now, as far as variability, there is more variability in the distribution of blank as compared with blank. Variability, remember, means is referring to like the spread it out of data, the difference in the data, right? The essentially how the data has been dispersed. Okay, so you remember we said that the more variability your data has, the better, because you included a lot more different people. Okay, so in this case, the variability in the female distribution. Okay, there's more variability in the distribution of females as compared with males, mainly because there is, there is data. I just went all over the place here. Hold on. Sorry. No, that one. There is more data in the female, and all 4 colors are represented in the female. Okay. And lastly, the predominant personality color for a typical male in this class. Again, we have a tie here. So it would be is orange or green, right? Orange or green. So make sure you guys update those responses. I hope you were able to get some of those at least. We're going to stop our lesson here for today because we are almost out of time. And we will continue this on Monday when we see each other, guys. Okay, so I want you guys to have a safe and relaxing weekend this weekend. Take care, and I will see you guys on Monday. All right. Bye, Vanessa.